Welcome to Humans of Business, the podcast where we uncover the human side of successful businesses. Here we speak with business leaders about the human traits that fuel success and how embracing who we are can shape the way we do business. Every business starts with a human, so let's learn from real humans one story at a time. My name is Yuri. I help people and brains shine through communities and personal connections. And my guest is Nicoline Huizinga, a human design coach, business mentor, and story-based marketing expert who believes growth should come with clarity, confidence, and clients, and who helps entrepreneurs build businesses that feel like home, and from whom I've learned already a lot about human design and who really very much influenced my journey some time ago. So, welcome, Nicoline.
Thank you, Yuri. I loved your introduction. And yes, I remember our talk about, well, among others, your human design. It was really, really nice. And I've followed your journey since, and I love it.
Let's do a little back. If you want to listen to this journey, go find Freelance Thrive and
Yeah.
Freelance Likes podcast. That's where we had this conversation. But let's jump to this conversation. So,
Yeah.
tell me one thing about you that I can't find on your LinkedIn profile and on your website.
Ooh, one thing. There is this, my guilty pleasure is James Bond movies. I love James Bond, the character, not so much one actor, even though I have my ideal James Bond, but I love James Bond movies.
Who is it? Who is it?
My favorite James Bond, you mean?
Yeah,
It's Pierce Brosnan.
of course. It's
Pierce
like,
Brosnan is the ultimate James Bond. Even though I love Daniel Craig, especially in the final one, his final movie, but oh my God, I love James Bond.
and what is your favorite movie? Do you have one?
I think, and this is the funny. I think GoldenEye is
Hmm.
that's the favorite one because Pierce Brosnan is the whole the cool guy, and I just love the whole. It's very traditional, masculine, feminine, but it's like I don't know, entertainment, eye candy, to be honest. So yeah, that's it.
You know, it's so fun when you're talking about Pierce Brosnan. The number one picture that I have in my mind is exactly James Bond. Even though he's a very well-known actor and he played in many different movies, but somehow, like it sticks to you. Like when you
Yeah.
play on some movie, it's like Elijah Wood, like Hobbit,
Yeah.
of course. So it's
Yeah.
like totally
Yeah.
that way. And the fun thing that you mentioned James Bond, because recently I was at a networking event and it was a person, Grzegorz Turniak, and he's like in his, I feel like 60s or 70s, but he looks like James Bond villain. And
What?
I'm like this evil guy who's always like fighting James Bond. And I was
Yeah.
like, I was sitting. I came there with a friend of mine, and I was sitting like, I think this person looks like this James Bond villain, and we had a laugh. But the funny thing is that afterwards, after this person gave a presentation and he was presenting his book with his colleague about network and stuff, and I came to him and told like, it might sound weird, but you look like a James Bond villain. And he laughed so hard. And but he really looks like that. Afterwards, I will show you his photos, so you will totally get what I'm talking about.
Oh, that's so great. I
And
love that.
tell me a little about the business that you are building at the moment.
Yeah, so what I'm doing is, and what gets me up in the morning, is the mission that I want to spread the word on. You have everything you need in order to be successful, whether it's a business or in a corporate job or a freelancer or whatever, but you have everything you need. The thing is that so many people are looking outside of themselves. I've done that. I've
Mm.
done that so many times. I've followed programs, I've followed courses, masterminds, all kinds of things to find the way and the strategy and the plan, the roadmap to be successful and whatever successful means. Because for me, it doesn't mean a six-figure business, even though that's, it's very welcome, but it's not my goal. So what really gets me up in the morning is to spread that message, and that is my intention for every single day, but also for whenever I do guest speaking gigs, networking events. My intention is to spread the word on you're enough, you have enough, you know enough, you have everything you need in order to be successful. So stop looking for the magic bullet, stop looking outside of yourself. And that's basically the business that I'm building and that I have been building, even though I got sidetracked
Hmm.
many times by following another blueprint. But now I'm really focused on this is the message that I'm here to bring. So I'm doing those things in my business. I love guest speaking. I do that. I love being a guest on podcasts. I do that. I do human design readings and I have my one on one coaching. And I spread my time, I divide my time between being in the Netherlands and Spain. Spain is my happy place, the south of Spain, Almuñécar to be exact, that's my village. And I'm building my network there as well in Spain. So past month I was in Spain and I did a lot of guest speaking gigs there, and I intend to do a lot more because the Spanish Costas, there are many groups and networking events, etc. So, and I love being in Spain. So that's what I'm building.
You know, there are so many messages out there, and I'm not talking about YouTube or Instagram. It's like crazy, even or TikTok, whatever. Even if you are open LinkedIn, you will see a lot of messages that, oh, you have to be this, you have to be that, you have to do this, you have to do that,
Yeah,
and then people are getting lost because all those people who are usually telling that someone has to do, they have like two ways. Either they are just selling information that they don't know, and sometimes they are just talking about something that they're not doing themselves,
yeah,
or even if they are who they are, sometimes they are on a too high level to come back to some people who are they talking to, because
yeah,
how can someone who runs a $1 billion industry give an advice to someone who is struggling to land a full-time job or to
yeah,
land a small project? So
yeah,
it's a huge gap between, and sometimes those people just can't come back to this level. So I'm curious, like from your perspective, you told about like finding, like looking into yourself, how to do this. I mean, like taking into account all those messages that we constantly get in
so true.
daily from
Yeah,
the outer
so
world.
true. So for me, when I think you're so right with about the gap that there is between people with, seven, eight figure businesses trying to give some advice to a person who wants to land a full-time job or who wants to get like a steady income from their business. I think it's impossible because you cannot find that connection anymore. So the people that I'm talking to are the people who have tried a lot of things already. So, and that's part of my messaging. I talk about all the courses and the masterminds and the blueprints that I tried because that's in my design, trying, testing, experimenting. That's part of my human design. So I talk about that experience and the right people who have done the very same and who are still struggling. Those are the people that I need to talk to because, of course, I want to reach everyone. I want to tell everyone, like, you're perfect the way you are, and not in the sense of you don't have to do anything, but there is nothing that you need to fix or change about yourself. It's you have everything. The only thing you need to do is understand how you're wired and how you can use that in life and in business. And the right people that I talk to are the people who have tried and tested so many things, looked outside of themselves, but who are ready to have a look at, oh, perhaps I know it, and perhaps I haven't accessed all the information that I have already, like this innate wisdom, and that they understand how the energy within them works in order to get to the right clients or the right income or whatever it is. But it is an energetic thing. So I truly believe in attracting the right clients, even though there is a lot of noise out there. My energy is my trademark. I'm a generator in human design. So my energy is my trademark. So I use video, I use podcast to connect with people. I use guest speaking. So when people experience my energy, they will get aligned to it. Like, oh yeah, yeah, you're talking my language.
Yeah.
That's how you attract the right people. So, and in that sense, I'm not aiming for the 6 7 figure businesses or business owners, because they have other issues that I cannot solve and that I don't want to solve. But I'm here for the people who tried and tested everything but are still stuck and still not struggling, but who are willing to take action, but see like, I something in me needs to change in order to become the successful business owner that I want to be.
Yeah.
So that's how I do it. I use my own energy as my way to get the message across and to attract the right people.
It sounds very much to me also, because sometimes like I do a lot of things, and no matter how I feel successful myself, sometimes I think that, what are you doing not right? But I feel like it's also not the right question to ask, because what I'm constantly switching myself to is like, what am I doing right and what I can double down on. And
Exactly.
the funniest thing is that I recently did this exercise, and I'm still doing this, that I'm coming to people and asking them like, is there anything that I've done like specifically to you, or maybe you've heard any of the podcast or blog post, whatever. Is there anything that I helped you like on our life journey, even without knowing that? And what people tell me, it kind of like highlights what like the inner me is, and it helps me a lot to see myself, how the outer world see me. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, maybe those are my superpowers. Maybe
Yeah.
that's what I have to continue on. And
Yeah.
to your moment about being perfect, you reminded me of this. There is this book, and once again, it's Japanese culture wabi sabi thing, that perfection of imperfect, like it's like nature.
That's it.
It's perfect in its imperfection. So, and it's like humans are parts of nature. You
Yes.
can't be perfect no matter how hard you try, and the whole life is like continuous learning journey. And I'm curious, like you've told that you do a lot of webinars and public speakings and talking to people. How do you learn?
I learn in many ways. I learn, but I mostly learn through experiencing. So and that's part of my human design. I love to study the knowledge, and that's also part of my human design for people who know more about human design. But I'm a 1 3 generator. So the one in me is always looking for new knowledge, new information. So I love reading. I love listening to audiobooks. I love listening to podcasts. So that is a way for me to learn. But the real learning comes from embodying it.
Mm,
And because knowing isn't doing. And
yeah.
it's, I mean, I have so much knowledge, but I don't always apply all of it. And that's the case for so many people. We love learning, but we don't like to be seen learning in daily practice and
Yeah.
testing and trying and experimenting. And this is something I learned through human design. The 3 in my profile is all about testing, trying, experimenting. Before I knew about my human design, so like 8 years ago, almost 8 years ago now, whenever I tried something and I
Mm,
failed at it, it felt like failure. And now I know it's just something that doesn't work for me, period. No ego attachment to it, like, oh, I failed, I made a mistake. It's like, it doesn't work for me, period. Check, done it, move on. And that is the big difference, I think, for all business owners, people in life in general. There is no failure There are
Mm.
only lessons, and it's sometimes you need the lesson several times before you actually learn. I mean, I tried in my business, I mean, it's now my 15th year in business. I tried so many things, and I was forcing and pushing and creating and working really hard. And the best success I got was from not working so hard. Only between air quotes, responding to what came to me. But learning for me comes from, of course, having the knowledge, loving the knowledge, continuously studying, because I'm a student for life. I will continue to do that forever. And the best learning comes from embodying it, experiencing it. And even though it's painful, sometimes
Yeah,
it hurts
it
sometimes.
hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
A
it's the
lo-
best way to learn.
I constantly, when I think about mistakes, have picture of like babies in my mind because when they try to walk, they fail a lot. And it also hurts because they can have some, they can fall from like a sofa or whatever, and it hurts, like
Yeah.
literally, physically. Because, for
Yes.
example, if we are humans, like making some mistakes, it can hurt mentally, but like they have physical pain. And for some reason, they still continue trying to walk. For some reason, I have no
Yeah.
idea why, but maybe it's something in our, insides. And
Yeah.
then somehow, as more we are growing, the more we lose this ability to make mistakes and learn from them. And also, I believe that it's a lot about society around us because usually people praised are only for like wins and overnight
Yeah.
successes. And if you are making mistakes, everyone will laugh at you, etc. So I feel like it's also. I think that it's still impossible to make it shift in society, but I think that it's also everyone has to have it in their minds that you like mistake, it's not the end of the world. If your mistake is not causing you to die, other people to die or whatever, like it's
Yeah.
not a mistake. Because can you imagine this surgeons who are making this operation on hearts and brains, their mistake is fatal, like,
Yes.
and still they make those mistakes. It's hard to say, it's tough to say,
Yeah.
but that's how they learn.
Yeah.
And I believe that 99% of people are not in the position of making such mistakes. So
No.
it's it's
No.
it's not a problem at all.
That's it. That's it. But our minds make up stories about how bad it is when you
Yeah.
make a mistake or how you can lose face when you made that mistake. I mean, before I understood and really embraced my human design, I really struggled with that profile line 3. Like
Mm.
the way I go through life is through testing, trying, experimenting. And this is why I attract clients who are on the same journey. But sharing the stories about the mistakes I made, about stuff that I tried that didn't work, that transparency, that is what people love, because we love heroes' journeys. We
Yeah.
love the raw and real stories, because I can create, an Instagram shiny image of being tiny, successful and beautiful, and but I'm not. It's this is it. I'm 57. I have an issue with my eye, and this is the story. And I tested and tried so many things. I have 64 landing pages of stuff that didn't work, that I tried to launch that didn't work. But that is the human factor that we are looking for, that I think is getting more and more important in this AI generated world, that we
Yeah.
really need to connect to real people and understand that our brain is telling us stories sometimes that we don't need to listen to, because fear is killing us. I mean, and recently, I don't know why, but this example comes to me again and again and again. Years ago, I was in a forest and we had this trail, on like 10 meters high,
Mm.
and you walk
Wow.
through the treetops and, zip lining and all of that. I seriously, I'm afraid of heights.
Yeah.
So I wasn't really happy doing that, but it was all about conquering fear and blah blah blah. But at some point we were at 18 meters above the ground and we had like, I don't know, 250 meters of zip lining over a lake. And
Wow.
I was on that pole, and there was a guy who was helping us, and he said, "Okay, I'm going to count down, and then you're going to jump." I was standing there with my harness and the gear and 18 meters above the ground, shaking. And he was like, "Okay, three, two, one, and then you jump." Okay, great. I'm going to do that. So he counted down three, two, one, and I was like, "No, I'm not going to jump." And it happened like three or four times, and every time, three, two, one, jump. Like, no, I'm not going to jump. But this is what happens with so many business owners, people in general. They want to do something, they have a dream, and then they don't jump. They just stand there shaking, thinking about all the things that could go wrong,
Yeah.
the failure that could come their way, and they don't do it. And this is where we still need to jump when you're scared, but jump anyway, because the moment I jumped, I felt the liberation of, oh my God, I'm just flying over a lake, and it's amazing, it's crazy, but I love it. But the moment of jumping and daring to take the step, that's where most people struggle, including me. And
Yeah.
I still do every now and again. Like, am I going to jump? Like three, two, one. Am I going? No, I'm just going to wait.
You
It's
know,
human.
and it feels like the longer this countdown, the more you have to think of what can go wrong, and the harder
Oh
it is to
yeah,
make this step. Because if he would count from 10, like it would be so much harder for, to make this
yeah,
decision. And I know that some people are like, they're like doing this fun, like I will count from 3 to 1 and then we'll jump. And then like three and they jump, you know?
yeah,
And it's like unexpected things, so people do not have this time, to prepare for 2-1, and they
yeah,
already like, do the thing, and then like, oh my god, it's not that scary that I've thought. And
yeah.
also, when you were talking about like this hero journey, you reminded me. I'm currently reading a book called Building a Story Brand, and it's the thing there that if hero is successful like from day one, it's not a story. Nobody cares. If you like
Mm,
living in a castle, everything is good, everything is right, you have no dragons to fight. It's
yeah.
not interesting. People
No.
need some kind of drama. People need some kind of challenges. They want to suffer with you. And they want, and every person is suffering during their own lives.
Oh yeah.
It's I don't know. Most likely there are some people I don't know who have like who are blessed and they just live their life without suffering. But I've never met such people.
No.
So, but maybe they exist. Who knows? It's like Yeti. People tell that they exist, but nobody met them. So
Yeah.
it's very very. So we still need those challenges, and I feel like when you are sharing them, as you are attracting people like you, because they see you
That's it.
are as a real human who is
That's
not
it.
afraid. Okay, who is afraid, but who is not afraid to do mistakes and then share and those like, hey, look, I've done that. It's not that it's painful, but it doesn't kill you. Most likely
Yeah.
it makes you stronger. Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe yes, maybe no, but you never know. And you were talking a lot about human design, and it's the first thing that we've met around like long time ago,
Yeah.
like human design. I'm curious, how did you fall in love with human design?
Well, it wasn't love at first sight, to be honest, because the moment I got my profile, at first I was like, what is this? Because so many numbers and symbols and images, and I was like, I don't get it. It's too much. It's too much information. It's hard. And it's too technical, I would say, at the very beginning. But after like 2 or 3 months, I took my profile again. And then I was like, oh my goodness, this is spot on. This is wow. This is this is me. And I have a background in training and coaching. I have been in the coaching and training industry for over 30 years, 30. So I've done a lot of assessments. But the difference between an assessment and human design is that assessments build the profile based on questions.
Hmm.
And human design, the main component is astrology. And for many people, that's where it gets woo woo and where they are like, no, that's, it's like a horoscope or whatever. But I've done hundreds of readings by now. And every single time I do a reading with a person, it's spot on. And so there is no coincidence
Yeah.
there. And that's how I fell in love with it. First of all, by seeing and understanding that it's spot on for me. Then I started working with it with my clients, and they experience like, oh my goodness. There are two words that always come when I talk to people about their human design. The first one is relief. The first one is relief, like, oh, thank goodness, there's nothing wrong with me. This is who I am, and there is nothing wrong with me. And the second word is permission. So it's like giving another person, and I'm not the person to give permission, but my clients experience it. You give me permission to be me. And basically what happens, they give themselves permission to be themselves. And so these two things always happen. And I love those moments, the moment of relief, and especially during readings. Very often people cry
Wow.
because for so many years they thought something was wrong with them. They needed to fix something, they needed to change something profoundly about themselves. And the relief of seeing it and literally seeing it in front of you, like, this is who you are and you're perfect the way you are. It's like, oh my goodness, it's that relief. And then the permission of, oh, this is not weird. This is who I am and how I am. And now let's start having fun with it instead of trying to suppress elements or trying to dismiss or even judge elements of your personality and your being. So those two things really help me to fall in love with it. And it happens every single time when I
Hmm.
work with a client on their design. And it's every single time I love it more and I love it more deeply because it's so spot on and it's so helpful and liberating for the people that I talk to.
I have this story about horoscope, and it's kind of fun story. I had a conversation, community life as a community builder, and she told me that when she was at school, they were responsible for writing horoscope for their school newspaper, and
Yeah.
basically they've done it in that way. That, for example, if their friend were dumped by a boyfriend or whatever, and they knew like his birthday and they knew his horoscope sign, so they like, oh, if you are Pisces, this time you will have a bad week or something like that. So basically they kind of made up a little bit. And
Yeah.
when you see the horoscope in magazines, like everyone can relate to it, no matter what sign do you have, everyone
That's
can
it.
relate. And if I wouldn't know what human design, as you've said, like it's some kind of woo, I might also have thought of,
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, I don't trust it. But
I
then,
get it.
like you've got my reading and you like immediately told everything that I have inside. I'm like, how do you know that? So for me, it was like very interesting. And you've done so many, like more than hundreds of different readings. So I'm curious,
Yeah.
for skeptics, for those who still think, no, it's not for me, I don't trust it. Like, what is some kind of like, let's say, scientific or maybe logical story behind the human design?
Yeah, so the logical story about human design is that it is a combination of spiritual learnings and science. And the thing is, it's spiritual learnings, astrology, like I mentioned, the I Ching, the Chinese I Ching, Kabbalah, and the Hindu Brahman chakra work. But the science element is quantum physics. And quantum physics is all about energy.
Mm,
And energy is like electricity. You cannot see it, but you know when it's there or when it's not there. You just put in a plug and you experience like, oh, there is no energy, or sorry, no electricity. But it's the same as with energy. We feel the energy and other people feel the energy as well. When I come into a room and I need to start talking about, I don't know, accountancy or whatever, that doesn't light me up. I am a
Mm.
generator. I need to talk about the things that light me up. So when I would have to talk about accountancy, I would be, you know, creating a story, probably with help of ChatGPT, but I would not be enthusiastic about
Mm.
it. So what happens? I tell the story, but people sense that it's not my heart's topic. So people are listening, and at some point they are like, she doesn't really care. So why should I care? So you can see what happens. The only thing is, it's not you can see it, you can feel it. And this is where it gets tricky, but it gets logical at the same time because we know when something is off. We know, we all know that. We have this feeling of, oh, I want to buy from you, or this is something, I want to do business with you. And we also feel like, no, not so much. I don't want to do business with you. We feel
Yeah.
it. We have this. The only thing is, we unlearned to trust that feeling. So we unlearned to trust what's going on in our bodies. Instead, we trust logic, we trust reason. Like, yeah, but we need to have a reason for not wanting to work with this or that person. I used to be that too. Like, no, but I need to come up with a logical reason. And now I'm like, it just doesn't feel right. I don't know why. Well, 9 times out of 10, in retrospect, when I look at design of the other person, I'm like, oh, I get it. Why we don't match, why do we don't click. But trusting the thing that we feel, but we cannot rationalize, that is the big challenge. But we do feel it, and the other person feels it too. We can feel it when someone is really invested in the topic that they share, and we can feel it when someone is just playing a game, when it's not real, especially when we see on Instagram, because it's such a visual platform. We can see it when a person is like, oh, look at me having a great life, look at my friends, look at where I am, oh, I'm traveling, look at my food, look at the restaurant, all the outside stuff. We can feel it when it's not real, when
Yeah.
it's game, when it's just the outside game. And we also feel it when it's real. We do feel it. But so that's as logical as it gets, I think.
Yeah. Like you when you were talking about this energy, I totally and when you were talking about like accounting, it immediately reminded me that sometimes you can go to a conference or to meet up or whatever, and then you are entering the room and you just don't feel good.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
it just doesn't feel that you belong there. And I had
Yeah.
these experiences because, I went to some business conferences and I'm like, I just don't like it.
Yeah.
I was watching like a long time ago some horror movie, and I remember this phrase when this noon came to some kind of like castle or like old church, and like this this place is full with evil or something like that. And
Hmm.
she did another like sentence, but I clearly remember. And the funniest thing that at the end of the movie, she like now everything is good. So it was so fun, She kind of like in the beginning like this place is bad, then it's
Yeah.
like the whole movie, and then the
Yeah.
end this place is good now. So and
Yeah, but we
the
know we have the
yeah.
ability to feel it and to sense it. The only thing is we don't listen to it
Mm.
because we are like, no, but this is a good conference because I will meet other people and it's the topics are interesting and blah blah blah. We tell ourselves the story with the rational arguments, what our body already knows. It's like, no, you don't have to be here. But we don't dare to act on it because we're so conditioned and trained to fit in, to act like, how people expect you to behave. But it's so crucial that we really start listening to what our bodies are telling us, because our bodies have this innate wisdom, but we are not listening. And you spoke about quotes. A quote that I absolutely love is that the struggle doesn't come from us being inadequate. The struggle comes from us not listening.
Hmm.
And it's not listening to our bodies, not listening and responding to our surroundings, because we know when we're in the wrong room. We really know. But we don't dare to take action because we're like, no, but it's weird if I leave straight away, blah, blah, blah. But we know.
Especially when money involved. So when
Absolutely.
you bought something or paid for something, it's so fun. I recently received a message from Netflix, and they like it was in the title, the best X amount of money that you will spend this month. And I'm like, no, Netflix, it's the best amount of money that I will save this month. I'm
Yeah.
not having a subscription. And also, I will save hours of my life sitting
Yeah.
and watching the movies that you made instead. Like, I can go, like, read books, go, like, have fun with my family, or, like,
Yeah.
listening to some good music, or I can experience a world around me instead of just sitting in front of the TV and, like, watching something that you created to feed me and to keep me on my sofa. It doesn't really work that way. And
Absolutely.
I'm curious from your experience. Still, it's super hard to listen to yourself. Once again,
Yeah.
especially when logic involved, when one more person who invited you to some place involved, when money is involved. But what would you tell? Like, what is the tiniest, smallest step for people to take to start listening to themselves?
To take the time. Take time to listen, either through meditation or to take just, even if it's 5 minutes next to the coffee machine, just check in with yourself. Like, what is my energy like? How do I feel? And if your energy level on a scale from 1 to 10, if your energy feels like it's a 5, great. What do you need? There is no judgment. Like, what do you need? Oh, you need to go outside. Great. Or you need to take a break. You want to read a book. You want to go to the gym. You want to go to the beach or whatever. It's exactly that. It can be that small. Every single time you take a little break, you walk away from your desk or you go for a coffee, like check in with your body, like what's my energy like? And especially when it's under 6, have a look at what you need and start listening to that. And that's a first step. And then a next step could be whenever you have to take a decision, listen to what your body is telling you. And especially, well, that's perhaps a bit technical, looking at your human design when you're a generator or manifesting generator, ask yourself a yes and no question.
Hmm.
Do I really want to do this? Does it light me up? Does it bring me joy? Because that's what you're supposed to follow. And 70% of people are generators or manifesting generators. So this is for the majority. But asking yourself those yes and no questions really help you to get clarity. The only thing is, the answer might scare us. That
Hmm.
when you think of doing something, like you said, especially when you paid for something, like when you enter a conference and you feel like, I don't want to be here. And you ask yourself, do I really want to be here? And the answer is no. Then half a second later, your mind comes up with reasons. Like, yeah, but I paid 400 euros to be here.
Yeah. But then if you don't like it, you are wasting at least, I don't know, 5, 6 hours of your life. I think that it
Exactly.
costs much more than 400 euros. So basically,
Exactly.
you are like paid this 400 euros to save you 5 or 6 hours of your time. So it's always,
Yeah, and you're saving your own energy, and the energy that you have. is to use it for what you are here to do. And perhaps that is a bit philosophical. I mean, why are we here? But we all have a reason why we are here. And the energy that you get is to spend it on the things that you are here to do. And if you spend 5, 6 hours at a conference that you don't really want to be, you don't spend those 5, 6 hours on the things that you're actually here to do.
Mhm.
So it's making that choice and listening to it every single time. And it's not like I'm doing that perfectly. I mean, really not. I'm just winging it. And every now and again, I make the mistake to step into the pitfall of like, I didn't really want to do it, but I did it anyway.
Yeah.
But it's the way we go through life, right? So it's
Yeah.
definitely being, I would say, seeing energy, our own energy, as our main asset that we can use in life,
Yeah.
and that's start small. The moment you stand next to the coffee machine, what's my energy, and then act on that.
No, and also by being philosophical, like I have an example that I had a meeting with the CEO of a company and they asked me to like wait for some time for them to end the previous meeting. And I was in the building, like it was like 13th floor. It was a beautiful view of a city. And I was like, I just took this time to just look at the city and see like what is the beauty outside. And it was a cloudy day, but what surprised me that here and there it was the rays of sun. So it was
Mm,
not like everywhere cloudy. And I was like, that's exactly how life is. You know, if
yeah.
you have like cloudy sky right now upon you, it doesn't mean that there is no sun. It's always behind the clouds, so it's always come back. And then this person came like, oh, sorry for making you wait. And I'm like, no, no, thank you for giving me an opportunity to daydream, because
That's
usually I
it.
don't have it. Usually I'm like fully in work. I'm
Yeah,
doing the stuff that I'm doing, and then I don't have time like to look outside. And then they gave me this opportunity. I'm like, no, thank you. So
great.
yeah, philosophy it's always there. You know, you have to
Yeah,
have it there because otherwise, yeah, you can't explain everything with logic. You can try, but you can't explain everything. And
so true.
you know, I really wish to have the sky as a limit, but time is the limit to our conversation. So the final question: what is one thing that you are really good at that no one knows that you are really good at?
Oh, I don't think I have things that people don't know about me, because I'm good at a number of things, but I think the main thing that I'm good at, and perhaps not enough people know this, I can see people's potential.
Hmm.
It's This is what I do. So I see it, and I don't even have to see their human design, but I see the potential in people, and perhaps they don't know it, that I see it without needing the human design, because I don't necessarily talk about it, because we always, of course, talk about human design and then the whole
Hmm.
thing
Yeah.
comes out. But I just see it. I just see it. I feel it. I just know it. And in that sense, perhaps that's something that not enough people know. Some people know that it's almost it's clear. I'm claircognizant,
Hmm.
so that means I know things without being able to know, and it's trusting my intuition, and well, trusting the energy, and just seeing this around people. So the claircognizance helps me to see the potential in people. So yeah, I think that's it.
Last but not least, name two people I should have this podcast conversation with.
Ooh, interesting. Two people that, oh my goodness, so many people come to mind. You need to talk to Ali Meehan, who is the founder of Costa Women. And she created a network in Spain throughout all the Costas.
Hmm.
It's incredible. So you really need to talk to Ali. And another person that you need to talk to is Tracy Baxter, who is a copywriter And she has this incredible view on how we deal with copywriting versus using ChatGPT, etc. So I would say those two people.
You know, the second person you mentioned sound to me like GK Peter. It's like a person I know, and she is also talking a lot about writing as a human instead of writing
Yes.
as AI. So
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And she's great at explaining how it can make a difference because she shows exactly what ChatGPT cannot do versus what you as a human can do. So, yeah, those two people.
got it, got it. And what is the best way to connect with you?
The best way to connect with me is go to my website, www.nicolinehuizinga.com. That's the best way. I'm on Instagram, I'm on LinkedIn, and on YouTube. So I'm active on socials, so find me there. And I highly recommend everyone to download the free chart and take it from there and know and learn more about the human design.
Yeah, and about yourself, of course, because that's all
Yes.
about it. And you know, Nicoline, the first conversations that we had a long time ago, I've already told you the story that you helped me, like with the help of human design, helped me to understand that the best way that I personally can talk like and work with people is by responding them, not by going them and like, hey, buy this, get this,
Mm-hmm.
but more about like understanding what they're dealing with, what are the challenges, and kind of like
Yeah.
responding to their needs and challenges. And back then, I don't know, we had this conversation maybe a year ago or something like that. And since then, it helped a lot in my personal story. And I every time I see some posts on LinkedIn, I always like reading what you are sharing, like your personal stories. And like today, we had such a deep conversation, and you opened just a little bit of what you are working in, like a little bit of your life journey. But for me, it's a huge pleasure to get to know you more as a human, as a professional, and
Oh,
you are a
lovely.
very inspiring person. So thank you so much for this conversation.
Oh, thank you, Yuri. Thank you so much for doing this and thank you for the lovely words. And I absolutely love what you're building and creating. And yeah, let's take this further and see how both our journeys will progress. I'm excited for it.
Of course. And yeah, see you in the business world.
Yes, absolutely.
And thank you so much for listening. If you have any questions about how the community can help you reach and overcome your business goals faster, let's connect on LinkedIn and talk about it. That's it. We're done. See you in the next episode.